I recognize you, Tabatha.
You do?
Oh my gosh.
I was hoping you wouldn't.
Oh, it's so wonderful to meet you. How are you?
My name is Tabatha Coffey, and Tyler might recognize me from my Bravo TV show Tabatha Takes Over, where I go into failing hairdressing salons and take them over and turn their businesses around.
Well, I've never done a reading in a salon before, so this is kind of unique. Where are we?
This is my friend Eden Sassoon's salon.
Nice.
And Eden's father was Vidal Sassoon. So it means a lot for me to be here with you,
right,
in a friend's salon, and because her father is not just an icon in my industry, but also, to me personally, one of the biggest mentors of my life. I would say I'm a total believer if it's the right person. And I truly think Tyler has been given this amazing gift. I don't quite understand it, but I'm really excited to get to know more about it.
My goal is really just to try to provide specific details, and no matter what a client comes wanting to know about, my goal is just to leave the person better than I found them.
I've got a little anxiety. Oh, people would love to see me squirm, but they better not get used to it, just for Tyler.
Okay, perfect. So immediately, I want to go to your mom's side of family. I do feel like I have to kind of tune in on that direction. We've got the 3 women. Okay, give me 1 sec. Give me 1 minute. Victoria. Okay, Victoria. That's random. Okay. I just have to kind of get this out. There's a very distinct reference to a V name that I have to highlight. This is really weird, and V names aren't very common. So generally, typically, I'm looking at like Victoria or something along those lines. They're having me bring this up, but I don't know if this is necessarily the name of a person as much as this could be referencing to something else. But it's V, and I'm saying it very strongly.
My mother's side of her family all come from Victoria in Australia.
Awesome, perfect. Because it didn't really, I don't know if this felt like a name as much as feels more like a place. Okay. This is a weird situation. Someone had a pet monkey. But it's like a funny thing of like, why do we have a monkey? I wish you could see what I'm seeing in my head right now.
So do I.
And the feeling is like, I don't know if this monkey's living environment, the feeling is this monkey's taking over. This is like a weird situation of a joke where this monkey is living in like conditions where we would expect to see human beings. What is this? Why am I saying this?
I know someone, or a friend of my mother's, when I was a child, had a pet monkey that she would take everywhere, like other people take their puppies.
Right.
And sometimes she'd put the monkey down her shirt to hide it, and his arm would come out when we went places, like come out and grab things. But he had his own bedroom and everything.
Wow, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's
he had a playroom.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm glad that made sense because that was ridiculous. Okay, well that's validation. So yeah, sometimes I'll find they'll bring up random things. I'm like, it's so funny. Okay, that's quite the visual. All right, I'm like, okay.
Tyler, what are you seeing?
The monkey went away, and now I'm seeing Catholic, and I'm seeing a Catholic school, and I'm seeing like the whole thing. But the joke is about a nunnery. And there's a situation where I don't know if we're gonna like ship someone to the nunnery, or there's a joke about someone being a nun.
I understand it.
Okay, good. So random. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Tyler walked in and all of a sudden there were just all these things coming to him. And it was nice to hear the things that Tyler was saying, even if they made no sense to him, about monkeys and Catholics, and all made total sense to me. And it was definitely my mother, and you could feel her energy and her spirit and her personality, and it was nice to feel that again. Is she noisy up there like she was down here?
Oh, yes. It all comes through in a very funny, very like wanting to make other people laugh, wanting to make other people smile, being a little ornery. No matter how much she aged, she never let go of that feistiness to some extent, and that's really special. And that's a trait that she honestly thinks she's not that different from you with, so.
Yeah, the apple doesn't fall far.
And she's bringing up a situation, and she's talking about her health care, and there's a feeling of an appreciation for being able to be there and taking care of her, or doing things that traditionally we would be viewing as like hospice is doing. And the feeling is, thank you for doing these things because you didn't have to, but you did anyway. And there's this feeling of it's so much more personal when it's being done from someone that I know and that I care about. And there's this feeling of knowing that this is a responsibility that a lot of people wouldn't initially jump on. And there's a feeling of like, I know how hard it was to have to see me in this state and be there for me, but thank you for being able to actually be there. And there's a feeling of when some of the men in the family might have stepped back or not been able to kind of handle certain situations, there's a feeling of appreciation. And she needs you to know that she went when she wanted to go and that she was okay with the time that she did. She actually is acknowledging the last 24 hours of her life, and she brings up the fact that she should have gone 24 hours before. It's interesting the way this comes through, because from her perspective, she's saying, I should have gone the day before, but she held on for this last 24 hours for some reason to go. And this for her was a good thing. This isn't something that's sad. She comes across that this is giving closure. Does that make sense overall?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
My mother's name was Norma, and she passed away from colon cancer. And I took care of her when she got sick, so I was there when she passed away.
Right.
She waited for me to come home until she passed, and for 24 hours, I was on a 24-hour watch with her, taking care of her and giving her medicine every couple of hours for 24 hours.
She's proud of you in a whole other way for that alone and for being able to withstand that.
I had a good teacher.
Absolutely.
It was an honour to be able to do that and to do that for someone. And you always kind of wonder if, you know, they know that you're doing that.
On her end, there's a feeling of like, I have closure, I'm okay. She, though she might not physically be here, is still very present in your life, in your work. And there will be moments where I think you'll kind of hear her. And the feeling is like, I know exactly what Mom would do right now or what she would be saying.
Sometimes I don't want to.
Exactly. But that's her way of making that connection. And there's just this feeling of touching the hair. So please know that. I don't know why this is coming through in that way. But if you do have any instances where you feel this, know that that's your mom.
She was a hairdresser as well.
Oh, I see.
When my mother was young, she was a hairdresser.
Right.
And she would always yell at me if she didn't think my hair looked perfect. She would always be yelling at me and telling me, go and get a haircut or go and get my regrowth done or go and do something.
Right.
So
that's so funny.
maybe that's why.
This might be trivial, but I don't know. It feels very dangly. I feel like they don't typically bring up jewelry because it's something they don't prioritize on the other side, but this might have symbolic value. It's like one piece, and it seems oddly important. But...
Yeah, it goes back to the Catholic thing that you keep getting. We all went to Catholic school. My mother went to a very strict Catholic school, and everyone thought that she was going to be a nun, which is quite ridiculous if you knew her. She was the furthest thing from a nun.
Right.
But I have a rosary in my pocket. So that's the Catholic part.
That would be it.
I carry it everywhere with me because it has my mother's ashes in there, and I carry them everywhere I go. I wasn't sure where you were going with the Catholic thing for a second, and I honestly forgot that it was even in my pocket. I'm so used to carrying that rosary in my pocket that I forget it's there.
Yeah.
And then I just felt it and was like, oh, I think that's that dangly thing.
That's
there you
hilarious.
Go. My mother was really strong. She was an amazing woman. She started her career as a hairdresser, although I never knew her to be a hairdresser. She owned nightclubs when I was a kid growing up. My father left when I was really young, so my mother raised me as a single mother, and she was just probably the strongest person I knew. I was so scared because I wanted my mother to come through so badly.
Yeah.
And she's loud, and she makes me look like a pussycat with her language and her strength.
Oh, well, thank you for today. This has been so fun.
It was so amazing to meet you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
Glad. Oh, you were the best.
There is just this sense of lightness. It's so incredibly cathartic, and it's so great to have that reassurance. And it's just so nice to feel the presence of the people that you want to connect with. And Tyler really brings that. So you leave feeling different, and I will definitely leave this experience feeling totally different to how I walked in. Wow. I'm actually gobsmacked. He's so incredibly sweet, and I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but just really, really sweet, and he was so accurate. My head's swimming, so I can't even imagine how he feels. It was really incredible, really amazing.